Well, last time I was talking about children. Uh, right now, the children they got nothing to look forward to. We've taken, well, let's say the politicians have taken everything away from them. They got no, they're on drugs, they're on drinking, got hardly any morals left because the, in, like my children got morals because I was brought up uh, respecting my mother and father, and they showed me how to raise a kid. You don't beat them. You don't have to beat them. I mean, uh, all you have to do is, well, talk to them. I guess show them the ins and outs. I mean, uh, everything's so easy for them to get, and they don't see any future. I don't see much of a future for this world if it don't start changing. Because the ordinary person does not have a clue what's going on. None of us do. You know what the hierarchy of any country uh, is doing, and the ordinary Jewish person. Now, I seen this on TV. It was on a talk show, and they're willing to uh, talk with Palestine, even share the land, the piece of land they're always fighting over. But our governments, let's call him the Zionist Jew. A Zionist Jew is there's the Zionist Jew, the Christian Jew. The Zionist Jew thinks they're entitled to the land. Not only that land, they think they're entitled to a lot more. And uh, but uh, you have a racial slur against the Jews, you can be prosecuted now for that. Anybody else? No. I know 6 million of them died in the Second World War, and that was a tragedy. But nobody mentions the 10 million Armenians that died. There was, before that, 10 million Armenians died. Second World War, Hitler killed 250 of his own people because they were crippled or they meant retarded. 3 million Russian uh, prisoners he killed, and 800, 5,800,000 and some thousand Jewish people. 5,800,000, almost 6 million. That's terrible. I mean, I agree. But even so, uh, it's very sad. But it doesn't entitle them to everything. You know, these are no, these were nomads that were all over the world now, and they got their country in 1948, I think it was, or 58. I was born in 1948, so I don't know if it was the same year or not. And they exited too, and the UN gave them Israel. So now they want more. I'm not saying the Jews are greedy. I'm just saying they went through a lot. But like I said, the ordinary Jewish person is willing to share. Where the Zionists want everything. 60 Minutes there, they did uh, an interview with the British Prime Minister, the British Prime Minister, the Israeli, I think they're prime ministers. I don't know if they're presidents or prime ministers. Yeah. And they're digging in Palestine land for what they thought was the city of David. There was no proof in the city of David. I don't think they ever even found any proof yet, but they're still building there. And he pointed down. He said, "We're building a park down over there." Well, she said, "Isn't that Palestine land?" Uh, he said, "Yeah, but we'll rebuild our houses." And if you've seen the picture of it, there wasn't a place to build a house or houses. Well, he always said we'll build them on top of another house. He got mad at her. You could tell he was getting mad, and she was asking the right questions. But this was on 60 Minutes. I mean, so it's not something I'm making up. Uh, and I was almost on the Hamas, not Hamas, Palestine's, till I seen Hamas in action, where they laid their own people down the ground and start machine gunning them and killing their own people. Uh, well, I didn't know what that was about, so I really can't comment on it. I just seen the video on 60 Minutes. 60 Minutes. There's a lot of information out there on 60 Minutes. But back to the children, we have to give them hope. There's too many people fighting over too many things. They keep bringing in this country here, Canada, 250,000 people a year, and there's another party wants to bring in more. They're living in slums now, from what I heard. They had a story that they were living in slums in the big cities. They were supposed to bring in professional people, but you know, professional people they don't sleep in slums. I mean, they're bringing them in to break the unions, cheap labor. Uh, the stores, I ain't gonna name the stores. For one store in here, they had a meeting. It's a start chain of stores. It sells food. They're going to raise the food prices 14%. Everything up 14%. Then you wonder why people want more money. Well, they need more money to live. Well, the unemployment rate in the East Coast is pretty high anyway. Most of them, most of our people, if all our people come back, we'd have no room for them because they're all living in Toronto for since they were young. I was in Toronto for 5 years myself, but then they built the same kind of factory down here, so I just transferred down. But the thing is, we shouldn't have to leave home. I mean, I don't like big cities. I'm from the country myself, but I live in Moncton, which is getting to be a real big city. Too big for my liking. And you grow up in a big city, you know, there's no jobs here. There's a lot of like we have a two-tier system now, minimum wage two-tier system, where uh, the company pays 75% and the government pays 25% of their wages. But this is only for, as far as I know, it's only for the people that are from other countries, that came from other countries. Not born here. They weren't born Canadian, and they just like come over, and then they say something about people being on welfare. Well, you take minimum wage, even minimum wage, you go to work, and by the time they take taxes off, unemployment, in which they're right now they're considered not cutting out unemployment. Harper says, you know, we don't need it. What's the person? Well, Harper is an idiot anyway. I don't care if he knows it or not. behind some of the idiotic things he'd said in the past. So, but so you know, if you're Canadian, you don't get that. They don't give you that subsidy. So who's the company going to hire? I'm not naturally they're going to hire the ones they only have to pay 75% of the wages to, and good deal for them. Not too good for Canadians. Well, that's the country. One monopolization. They see Google now. They own this where I'm doing this. I don't even know if I want to get published. Everywhere you got to pay and pay. I ain't got money to pay for crap. And but they let me make them. I make them. I put them on my channel on YouTube. And I hope someday that people will get to hear them. Now I'm going to make a pretty drastic change in the weather today. You notice how odd the weather is? One day, week here, it was 30 degrees. By the time the weekend came around, it was snowing again. Hurricanes and tornadoes in the United States are tearing the place apart. And I know a man can make rain. They always could from way back. They always knew how to make rain. Then I heard Moscow was going to make the snow stop before it got too, excuse me, before it got going to stop the snow before it got into Moscow. I was, well, how the hell are they going to do that? So they got to be able to control the weather, and I'm wondering if this is the New World Order has to get rid of. Now this was told to me, but 4 billion people off the earth so they can control the rest, and that's why the cheap labor and everything they're starting to spread it out around, and that way they can control everything. So I'm wondering if they control the weather, the storms and stuff like that. It's not hard to believe because it's they've got every seed in the world. Now this is another thing I've been told, but everything this guy ever told me, I looked up and found it to be true. And they got every seed in the world in one of the coldest places in the world, about a couple of hundred stories below ground. Every seed in the world for everything in the world, every plant, every down there. So they're up to something, you know. Uh, this is I'm talking about the Illuminati and the New World Order here, because they asked Rockefeller when he was dying. He said, were you trying to start a New World Order?" He said, "Yes, and I'm proud of it." You know. So there's a lot more. There's the disease, all this crap in the food, Prozac and chicken. It's Prozac or another anxiety drug. I forget which it is. Chicken get up that upset? Well, they force feed them. They give them steroids. Steroids. All these things are passed on to the kids when they're like we had a better start in life than they did. So we were younger. There wasn't as much. I don't know about Jews, but I mean, I live right next to a farm. That's where we got our food, and you know, uh, it wasn't polluted. They used not horse manure. Well, you find a lot of bullshit manure in Ottawa if you run out of it. But now this is the way it was grown then, and it grew up good. But I guess someone told me they banned using manure. that yeah, they use pesticides. Another company, that wants to make money, so they passed a bill so uh, they wouldn't have to. Well, this is the way to make. This is the way business is run. You gotta have somebody in the government to help you. Well, I got a lot more to say, but this only runs for 15 minutes and 30 seconds, so I'll be back again. And if you ever see them, uh,